Yeah, we got him. Yeah, he's like,
yeah. Okay,
He's like-
Leland.
Yeah, you go, Leland.
Yeah.
welcome to the Roger the Wild Child show. And oh my gosh, I didn't even get it.
Fuck it.
What?
There we go.
No!
Yes! Woo!
I can't. There we go. Yeah,
It feels like
won't be the first time.
Hello. I know I was very relaxed when we were pre-show, but when it goes live, I get very nervous and
Hey, don't be putting that away. Why are you putting that away?
mine's, you know, it usually goes underneath the mattress. Because between the mattresses, right next to the socks.
Yeah.
She is an actress. She also is a writer. She's a producer. She is a podcast host. And I swiped right on Tinder on her profile.
So I do, motivational speaking. I have an agent and I have this whole thing. I'm kind of like Tom Brady. I'm an experienced.
I want to hear this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean,
Come on, Kenny, tell us.
Yeah.
How are you like Tom Brady?
well, I deflate my balls.
Roger the Wild Child Show is brought to you by our friends at Prism Design Company. Are you looking for a cool new logo for your business? Do you need some new graphics for your website or blog? Our friends at the Prism Design Company are a premier graphic design company that can handle all your needs. You can find Prism Design Company on Facebook or contact them directly at 618-534-4291. All the great graphics on the Roger the Wild Child Show are brought to you by our friends at the Prism Design Company.
And now, the hottest new celebrity interview show in the universe. It's the Roger the Wild Child Show.
Let's get this party started! Ready, set, go!
On the air everywhere.
It's the Roger the Wild Child Show!
It's time for another exciting edition of the Roger the Wild Child Show with your host, Roger the Wild Child, joined by radio disc jockey Jimmy Knight, also musician and son of Elvis's bassist Jerry Sheff, Darren Sheff, and former Playboy Playmate cover girl and centerfold Deborah Driggs. Let's do this.
It's the Roger the Wild Child Show!
And welcome to another fun, exciting edition of the one and only Roger the Wild Child Show. How you guys all doing? It's Roger here along with Jimmy Knight, Darren Sheff, and Driggsy is in the house. What's up? How y'all doing?
All week I've been walking around my house going, hey, Driggsy. All week since Wednesday. Driggsy.
It's like a character I get to play now.
What a great week we've had so far. I mean, going with episodes. Sunday, Wednesday, and then tonight. We tap off 3 in a row with an amazing guest, Bill Champlin. But we'll get to him here shortly. So I got to talk about Wednesday night. Wednesday night we had a great show. We had Steven Weber on the show.
It was
By the
fun.
way, I have now watched 4 episodes of Chicago
Med.
Thank
You know what I did that night? I watched the first episode of Wings again.
Did ya?
I like my Steven Weber young. No, I don't know why. I was just flipping around and Wings was there. And I'm like, I want to go back and see if I remember this and if it holds up. And I did remember it. It was funny, but no, does not hold up because their technologies are so much different back when Wings came out compared to now. So, but Steven was perfect in it.
In the house. Hi, y'all.
Hey,
Cliff is in the house.
Hi, Kathy.
Hello, Kathy.
She said hi to
Kathy.
Darren, not me. So,
Hi, Kathy.
It's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
only Darren.
now
Say hi
Kathy's
to
my
the
bud.
crew.
Driggsy.
Kathy, hang in there because she loves Bill, man. And
Oh,
She will.
yeah.
Hi,
Kathy,
Bill.
I think Kathy even ran like some sort of like a meet and greet moment for Bill at a couple places or something
Nice.
crazy.
Oh,
She'll
nice.
text it
Cool.
in years
All right.
ago. But I'm trying to see where for some reason my screen got all messed up. I see these texts.
Thanks, Don.
Oh, Don.
Donnie.
Now I feel like somebody. I am
You feel special
somebody.
now, Jim?
Are you in
I
the
do.
telephone book?
I am not. I
I
am
am
not.
somebody now.
I am somebody.
I did it.
I'm trying to get my screen together. I've lost, for some reason, it got really big and it's not showing like the chat stuff.
Are you
But anyway,
technically inclined?
I am having an issue right now.
Now you're having an issue. We've been backstage for 40
Right.
minutes, and now you're having
Now
an
you
issue?
have an issue?
All it is you just touch one weird thing with this mouse and it's all over.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, you're
So
still
let's-
using a mouse.
Yeah, we don't use those anymore.
That.
Let's keep Bill waiting so Darren can figure out his tech issues.
No,
you know what this is, Deborah?
I just can't see the,
I don't
the,
use
the
that.
chat. I
Oh,
can't
Bill
see
won't
the
mind.
chat.
Don't worry.
Bill's
Hey,
fine.
Darren. Darren, mine works fine. You want to borrow it?
Oh, wow.
Here,
Look at
here you
that.
go. Here you go. Try it.
All right. Here, you
Now,
touch mine.
in a few years, we'll be able to transfer that digitally to each other. Then,
Mentally.
yeah.
Right.
There you go.
You want to touch my mouse? I'll touch yours. Go ahead. That's good.
That's what she said.
I knew it.
Stop
Oh
it.
my
I
God.
knew that was going to
Wow.
get everybody
Oh my
thinking. I
God.
knew that was going to start you degenerates on a perverted.
Wow, you went down a path that I don't want to go.
I mean,
Oh,
Trixie,
Oh, my
help us.
gosh.
I was
Help us,
talking
Trixie.
to, I was talking to
Trixie.
Driggsy, man. I wasn't talking to you, dude. Jesus.
Well, I'm excited. I am.
You're too sunburned for me.
I am. Look at
no,
this.
you
Look at
look
this
like
melon.
a rock lobster.
Yeah, look
That
at
rock
this.
Hey, man.
lobster.
You know,
Yeah.
you should go on my website and read my tips for aging gracefully. The number one tip is stay out of the sun.
Yeah, but I haven't been in the sun all summer, so this was like I had to. Like it's the end of summer,
no,
so
it's
I
called
had to do it.
hat and
I had the
sunscreen.
hat on, Driggsy.
No, you're gonna age
Yeah, I don't care.
ungracefully.
I don't
Okay.
care. I don't.
I just
No,
actually
does
had
anybody
abs-
look at this and go, "That man is going to age gracefully"? No,
You stay out of the sun.
they look at
And
me
don't-
and they
and
usually
don't smoke.
they look at me, Driggsy, and they usually go, "That man has aged enough."
Oh my gosh. Saturday
Driggsy.
was a busy day for me. I was assessing my new Little League team. So I had 72 boys that were doing tryouts that I had to and then do my draft. So Saturdays was a really busy day for me yesterday.
This is our wild child. Just that.
Yes, it's so wild, man.
This is our wild child.
That's right. You tell all these rock stars that show
Literally.
on that you're Roger the Wild Child, and you're like, "Yes, I was doing my baseball
72
lineup."
kids for Little League.
Yeah, I was
Hey,
at the snack shack.
What's the name of your team,
getting
Raj?
Suicide
All right,
drinks.
We're
what's the name
the-
of the team?
We are the Knights.
Yes, you are. The Knights.
Yes. Like Jimmy Knight.
Well, I should be your mascot then.
You should.
The Knights in shining armor.
Jimmy says, "Hit that ball far, kids."
You look like that weird Chucky at Chucky Disease.
Oh my gosh.
That place is filthy. Chucky Disease. I swear. You know those little
Jimmy
balls?
says, "Make sure the ball goes through shortstop and second stop
No.
at first base before you run."
I agree. So gross. Walking in there, it just felt dirty and yucky.
All the
and-
kids
Ugh.
jump in that big pool of all those
Oh.
little
Oh,
plastic
ew.
balls. They empty that shit out. You should see what's on the bottom of that.
Let me tell you something. That is the only
And I'm
good
not even
thing.
a germaphobe, man. I can.
It's
handle
like
a lot.
Bill Murray in Caddyshack, you
Yeah.
know, when they drain the pool.
Yeah, but that is the good thing. That is the good thing to come out of COVID is that the play yards are gone. Like that ball pit needs to go away forever. We never need to see another ball pit for kids to go in and just get disease and
What a stupid thing. Who invented that?
right. Well, put a bunch of
Whoever
kids. See,
invented the disease-ridden ball
Yeah.
pit.
Some drunk clown.
Yeah.
Shit, you know. All right, kids, let's jump in the pool.
Let's
of
jump in the
balls.
balls.
Let's jump in the bulls. Oh my god.
yeah. Hey,
Uh-oh.
Driggsy, must be getting
Uh-oh.
hot in L.A. Driggsy,
Hey.
Driggsy's air conditioning.
I can see myself like a mirror. Like I can do my makeup.
Oh,
Yeah, you're like putting all the lip gloss on and
I forgot to
Welcome.
put lip. You know, I look so pale without some lipstick.
you look perfect, Driggsy.
Well, you know.
let me pull my t-shirt down a little bit here for you.
Yeah, we can just see some hair.
I'm sexy
Let's
and
see.
I know
I
it.
don't have any hair on my chest, man. I got like 3 right here, and that's it.
Yeah, why don't one of
My
you
brother-
take?
My brother looks like he's got a freaking sweater on when he takes his shirt off.
I'm right there with you, Darren.
Why
I don't
don't
have
one of
any
you
hair.
take
Soft
one
like
for
a
the
baby's
team
ball.
and take off your top?
No.
I don't want you to see
No,
my
that's
fun
all right.
bags. You don't want to see my
Why?
fun. You don't want to see my fun bags. Anyway.
Come on, Roger. You're wild.
Yeah. Let's
Off
see
with the top.
Off with the tap.
You got some music?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no, don't do it.
All right, guys, let's bring on our first guest. I don't want him to
see that.
I don't want him to log off. Okay, hang on.
Yeah, he's scared now.
All right, guys, let's please welcome our first guest.
Our first, it's our only guest.
Yeah.
What, we got more than one?
No, we only have one today. So, so you're right.
Seatbelt.
It feels like.
Bill, put your seatbelt on.
Yeah.
All right,
watch out. The wild child's going to get wild on you.
You're going to talk about Little League. Watch out.
Watch out. You've got 70 kids to talk about.
You got to remember that there's a certain age where your phrase that defines your age is "get off my lawn."
It is so like funny how quickly you start to get to that age. Like,
Yeah, it's like,
I
hey,
usually
man.
think it's like mid 40s by the time you start saying, "Who's out there? And why are they on my lawn? Get off my lawn!
Get off my lawn.
Why is your ball beer? Quit hitting your ball into my grass."
And when you mentioned ball pit, I was wondering, you know her too.
Here's a man with no introductions. Guys, please welcome to the show, Mr. Bill Champlin.
Yeah. I was yelling at those kids to get off my lawn too when I was 20 doing a 8-ball of blow.
No.
Oh, Roger, you lost your title. You lost your title.
Yeah.
I did. All right,
Darren,
he's going to be the new
Chain
host
smoking,
next
trying
week.
to fucking drink at the same time. I'm just kidding. Anyway, kids, welcome to the party. Anyway,
Kids,
There we go.
why can't they be like we were, perfect in every way?
Oh yeah, I bet.
What's the matter with kids today?
All right, Bill, I want to welcome you to the show here. I mean, you've
Again?
definitely have an amazing journey, like
yeah.
all of our guests. But I mean, yours is just, I mean, it goes back years and years. I mean, you created the group.
Let's not add a lot of years and years.
Hey, don't worry. I know I'm so old I fart dust.
Is that what that is?
I call
Oh my
friend,
God.
I don't know what we can get away with. I called a friend of mine, manager I used to have, and he was about getting on to 80, I think, at that time when I called him. I said, "Hey man, how you doing?" He said, "Well, I've kind of reached the age where it feels better to pee than it does to come." I
totally get that. I must be getting old.
And another one, Louis Belson was doing like a drum clinic. Louis was one of the first guys. He's the guy that actually invented double bass drum. Great drummer. Married to Pearl Baylor for many years. And somebody, it's big, doing a drum clinic, and the place is packed, and somebody yells out, "Hey, Louis, how's your sex life?" And he says, "Hey, you ever tried shooting pool with a rope?" Then it turns out that was actually a George Burns joke. And
Oh my God.
Yeah.
the one that went with it is trying to put an oyster in a coin slot. But George was full of it, man. He was a kicker.
Oh yeah, he was awesome. I love George Burns.
Yeah. So anyway, let's just
you're
talk
with
about
Sons of
people that
Champlin.
have been gone forever, and that nobody who's listening has any idea what we're talking about.
You formed the group Sons of Champlin, and then you guys had a comeback tour. So
we've I mean, it's like the Eagles are on their 18th or 19th year of their farewell tour.
Right.
I bailed. I mean, we started in '65. I bailed in '77. Moved to LA. Got into doing records and background vocals and a lot of studio dates, and that kind of changed my career, changed my whole move at that point in the game. A couple of solo albums. At some point in the game, I went, well, let's go do a handful of Sons gigs. So I went back up, rehearsed with them, brought a few of my cats into play, got Tom Saviano on sax, and we had Mick Gillette on trombone and trumpet. Mick's no longer with us, but he's amazing. I mean, he was the original lead trumpet player with Tower of Power. And Saviano's been an old pal of mine for years. Darren, you know Tom, don't you?
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, those guys. And then we had basically the same guys: David Shalleck on bass, Jimmy Preston on drums, Jeff Palmer on keys and vibes, and on first couple of records he plays sax too. It's one of those amazing musicians that plays everything. And we had for a long time we had Terry Haggerty, and then Terry kind of bailed out, and we got Tal Morris for a little while on guitar, and then we got Carmen Grillo, who's been with us for I don't know, 11, 12 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And we don't play all that much. I mean, we're about to do some gigs next week in San Francisco area, the first time in a year and a half on one rehearsal. Now that's flying without a net.
Yeah, you guys can
I like
pull that
it.
off, though.
Yeah.
You guys can pull it off.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. And these songs are kind of burned in with a wood burner, in most of our brains, At least for me, although I tried to play one of the tunes the other day, I was going, what the fuck is this thing? I had to get the cans out, find it on iTunes and play along with it. And go, oh, man, that's great. Who arranged that? You arranged it.
Who wrote that? Hey,
who wrote that?
Yeah,
Who arranged it?
You can remember all the lyrics to all the your late 60s up until the
Mostly,
late 70s
yeah.
stuff. But then all of a sudden you try and remember the lyric from your last CD and you're like, what the fuck did I just say?
Oh, I can't for anything that I've written in the last 20, 25 years, I got to have a chart in front of me. I mean, Darren, I've done so many demos and songs and sung for so many people and done so many records and stuff that I've just run out of memory in my hard drive, as it were.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. I've always wondered that. I mean, even just trying to get up and remember the lyrics for one show throughout the things. What's funny though, Bill, is I was talking to a guy the other day, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, I go, how did you end up being the guitar player for the Keane brothers? Do you know who I'm talking about?" Mark Milan, yeah. And he was like, Bill Champlin. I'm like, what? I mean, your name comes up, man, so much through different avenues as far as trying to help people, man. Musically, you have helped so many people, dude. It's ridiculous. I mean, including Jason, and a lot of guys, man, moving forward. But just hear Marco, because you know how close me and Jason have been with the Keane brothers all these years.
Yeah.
But to hear him say, and he goes, and then he goes, he got me in the Keane brothers, and then he got me a gig opening up for Buddy Rich at the freaking at like the Hollywood Bowl or something like that. I'm like, what?
No, I think it was Starwood, probably the Starwood.
Oh, Starwood.
Yeah, it used to be right off of Crescent Heights there. Big, ugly sounding room. And it was
Starwood. I remember the Starwood. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just incredible, man. I was like, you know what? Yeah. I mean, everybody admires your music, man, but you have done, like, when I think about all the great songs, like 20 years ago, I hear you and Jason singing those backgrounds on that Kenny Rogers tune, and I'm just going, and once again, there you are, man, and leading the pack there. And it's incredible, man. I mean,
it was kind of Jay Graydon I think the song was already kind of cut, and they asked him to do the vocals on it, and we were doing a background thing, and he just had me and Jason knock off the chorus itself.
Right.
And it was kind of the same thing Foster did with She's a Beauty for the Tubes. I mean, I was in there.
Dude, yeah.
And he said, hey, man, you think we can get a hold of Kimball? I said, yeah. So I called up Bobby, and Bobby was there in 20 minutes. Because we were dabbling, and Bobby lived, less than a mile from the studio. So he came over. He was on crutches because it was during the time when he screwed up his legs, fell down on a wedge on the stage, and he came in and just banged it off. You know what I mean? I did all the quiet stuff in between, but most of it was Bobby and Bill Spooner did all the.
Bill Champlin, quiet singing. Now that's funny because me and Jason were just talking about you like a couple of weeks ago. He was here and he goes, I remember doing a session one time. I wrote a song, and remember when Jason lived in Tarzana years ago, and he had
right
that
up the street, Amigo.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Amigo. That's exactly it. So I went over there to record some of my tunes, and Bobby just happened to come over. And Jason's like, hey, man, you want to sing some background vocals on some of Darren's tunes here? And Bobby's like, sure. And Jason was like, close to the mic like this. And Kimball's standing back 4 feet because he's so damn loud. And, it's just crazy. And so I said to Jason, I go, do you remember that session? And Jason goes, hey, man, he goes, Bill comes in right behind him, man. He goes, he can stand. He goes, Bill blows out the diaphragms of mics in the live setting, man. He goes, that's how powerful that guy's voice was. And we just started laughing. I'm like, can you imagine these two guys together singing background vocals?
Well, when we were out with Chicago, I went through a microphone a month.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now you got to realize what was going on though. But Shure, they were supplying the microphones. We got to keep giving you a new mic. What the hell's going on? We're going to redesign the mic, and we're going to start a whole thing. Once we find out where we're messing up, we're going to do a whole Champlin-proof microphone. I'm going, hey man, that's some badass press, And then they found out it was just sugar because I was singing with Ricolas in my mouth the whole time. Yeah, I was just eating up the diaphragm on the microphone with the Ricolas.
Oh God!
And the whole time I was in Chicago, I kept chewing gum because, long sets and stuff like that. I don't want to drink a whole lot of water up there. I'll have to pee halfway through the set.
Right.
So I'd chew gum just to keep moist. We went and saw Paul McCartney at Candlestick Park, the last gig at Candlestick that they had. And he did 3.5 hours, all in the original keys, never once took a drink of water.
Wow.
Really?
But I saw him chewing gum kind of regularly when I think I know what's going on here. So Tamara kind of knows one of the guys in the band, and she hit him up on Facebook and said, "What's the story with no water for 3.5 hours?" He was only the crowd was a small crowd of about 75,000.
Oh, only.
Yeah. and he smoked it. He just burned it, man. He was just good. The whole band, it was just a great show. One of the best shows I've ever seen.
Where do you put the gum where do you put the gum when you're singing? You just
stick it in the back,
And it doesn't. You're not scared of it like coming out while you're singing.
Well, that I wouldn't mind. What I am scared of is going down my throat.
Yeah, there you go. That was going to be my next question. How about choking?
But I'm usually trying to be careful. But that's the only way I could get any kind of wet.
Wow.
At some level. But Tamara hit up the guitar player, and he wrote. She said, "What's the story with the no gum?" And he wrote back. He said, "Well, first of all, he's not of this planet. Second of all, one time he drank some water and he went up to sing something really, really exposed like Yesterday or something like that. And he burped on about the third, fourth word. and apparently Paul's a bit of a perfectionist. He went, that ain't going to happen again.
Let's not have that.
That's kind of cool. I don't mind burping through the song. I mean, God, back in the days when I was drinking beer on the stage.
Oh, yeah.
They let you do that?
Huh?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me, man? I was cranking really hard for a long time. I cooled it all out in 1985.
Wow.
So that's about enough of that. I've reached the end.
So you had your group with Sons of Champlin, and then you guys decided to call it quits, and then you moved to LA, and then how did you join Chicago? How did that relationship happen?
LA seems like a big city, don't you agree?
A little bit.
The music,
just a little.
Yeah, the music scene is actually pretty small, at least the record scene, and I was working with Foster a lot. Me and David were doing a lot of stuff together, and he kind of had me come in on a lot of his stuff, Alice Cooper and the Tubes and different things like that, just as a vocal ringer. He kind of needed it, for a little while. At first he kind of needed a little help just arranging, and then it didn't take him long to out arrange everyone, but he just needed to have a guy with a good range, and in those days my falsetto was better than it is in these days. You know what I mean? I was younger then. You know what I mean? Get off my lawn!
Hey, you know what, Bill? What's interesting is like one of the first records I remember before Jason and I moved to LA, and this is what lit us up was the Completion Backwards Principle album, the Tubes record. And that was like a real good first taste of, we've been listening to, the Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff, all your stuff and everything else. But that Tubes record was kind of a really interesting thing with Lukather on there and you guys. And
there's a lot of Luke involved in it. I think Luke and David and Fee wrote a lot of those songs. Yeah, Fee's quite a writer. He's really good. He comes up with great, really interesting titles and different things. And we went to right after we did that. It was great because the band and their management basically bought us tickets and hotels to go up and catch the show at Fine Arts Museum or the San Francisco Plaza of Fine Arts or something of Fine Arts, right there on the water, right before you go toward the bridge. And I don't know. It's been, like I say, my memory is CRS. Can't remember shit.
But let me ask you this, Bill.
They were awesome. Live, they were awesome. But they spent their whole money on the show. They didn't make any money because they were spending it on the production of the show. It was insane and so great. And Fee was unbelievable. You can't. You see a showman or an entertainer on the level of that guy in a pair of Speedos dry humping a TV set in the middle of the stage.
That's what he did.
You gotta go, wow.
Right.
For craftsmanship. Yay.
What do I do? What do I do for a show? I spit out my gum.
Yeah, you gotta go on after that. Like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Go on after.
How the hell do you follow that? You know.
But you know what? That guy David Spooner singing "I Don't Want to Wait Anymore." That sucker, man.
It's
Was
Bill
it
Spooner.
him?
Yeah,
Bill Spooner.
Bill Spooner,
That
yeah.
dude, man. That song, man, floored me when I first heard that, man. That
Foster,
dude-
Foster wanted me to do it, and I kind of said, "I'm not really in the band." Are you sure?
Dude, yeah.
and I actually said to him, "I said, man, Spooner's as good as anybody, man."
He was
he's great.
insane, dude. That's still one of my favorite songs. It's probably my favorite song on that record. I love it.
Foster hit a stride songwriting wise for a while. They were just kicking butt, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I was lucky to be in on one of them, you know.
What about Airplay, man? Airplay was ridiculous too, wasn't it? With
Great
Jay?
record, boy. Yeah.
Wow, nothing you could do about it. All that great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Bill.
Did you ever see the Japanese live version of what you,
Yeah.
Nothing You Can Do About It?
Yeah,
Man,
I have.
it was just like the record. They were smoking.
Wasn't Warren
Wa-
Wavy
Warren
up there singing?
Warren was in the background. Jay was singing.
Oh.
Jay sings great. He's a good singer.
Do you think
Yeah.
a song like "She's a Beauty"? Do you think that song? Because that's one. I mean, that's my favorite Tube song. But I always think, now that you mentioned it, I think about that and I go, I wonder if that song is different. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not helping, I wonder if that song sounds different, or the songs where you're backing on don't have you in it if they're as big as they are. Because I don't know, the hook on "She's a Beauty" is fantastic. I mean, it's just a hook. I mean,
Well, what really kind of came down is right at the time Toto was really making a lot of noise.
Yep.
Kimball was on the chorus. Kaboom! It's the Tube, but boy, this sounds really familiar to other records
Yeah.
that are out there. So the timing was impeccable. Whether I couldn't tell you whether somebody planned it that way, but it worked out that way. And I think the same thing happened with Kenny Rogers 20 years ago. Me and Jason we had kind of been on the charts off and on, not at the level of Toto, but at least for where Bobby was. I mean, they were just coming off of what's the song? This one.
Tamara. Hold the line.
How does it go?
Yeah, hold the line. Yeah, hold the line.
Whatever the hell.
Which is also a very weird thing because that was such a different sounding song than what they came out with next. So
Yeah. Well, it was just one of those things that David Page came up with, and David is probably one of the most creative people in the music scene in the Bay Area and American music scene, for my money. Great writer. Who would have come up with the words for Africa? But David, just amazing.
That's a good point.
I mean, those guys. When you look at it, Toto should be on a government grant. I mean, that's how good they are. And, you look at Steely Dan, you look at Toto, Earth, Wind and Fire. I think handful of things. I think Toy Matinee in a lot of ways were way in the front of there, but that it didn't pan the way it should have. But that should have been right. They just should have gone to the top and stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
But
you worked with a bunch of great singers. I mean, you were a session musicianist. You worked with Amy
mostly
Grant.
session singer. Yeah, I worked with Amy.
And Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
Nancy Wilson. Yeah. I mean,
the jazz singer. Nancy. I mean,
not the heart singer.
Not the band Nancy Wilson, the jazz singer Nancy Wilson.
Okay.
Who was unbelievable. You ask any jazz singer, they'll just say Nancy's at the top. She's up there with Ella and Sarah and all the really great jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of my favorite things that I was only gonna ask you about this. I led up to it. Last week I said I was only gonna ask you about this one song on the Miami Vice 2 soundtrack.
Oh.
It's called "The Last Unbroken Heart." Hey, look at this! Hey, I'm like melting right now. Like I'm such a geek with this stuff.
Now how's it go? What does it go? Fuck it.
The lyrics are evading me, not just the lyrics anymore.
But it was funny because
Last Unbroken Heart was written by Joe Williams, Paul Gordon, Jay Gruska.
Oh wow!
And actually, I kind of brightened up the second verse. It was a little dark, and I thought I'd do a little bit.
As a kid, pretending to be in radio back then, I used to make fake radio stations in my room to try to be a broadcaster, and that was like one of the songs that I always play over and over. I don't know why. I think it's because it had a long intro or something. Like I could talk over the lyrics, like before the lyrics.
I always thought it was David Foster on piano. The piano part in that is just stellar, but I think it was actually Robbie Buchanan.
Yeah, it's funny because I hadn't heard it in years, and I was walking through my used record shop out here where I go to, and I saw it just sitting on the end cap, and I'm like, and it just like all came rushing back to me, and I'm like, I gotta get that. I just picked it up and put it on. It was just as
Oh, that's what it is. There we go. Got it.
That's just amazing, though, that
That's
you
so
can.
funny. It's so simple for him, and he can't remember, but he can play all these crazy other things.
Yeah, it just comes right back.
Cameron and I sing that one when we do some duet live things. Maybe later on we'll go ahead and do it.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
Wow, I would be like such a nerd.
Yeah.
I think I got the lyrics sitting in here somewhere.
I will be. You're gonna watch a guy just turn into just a complete nerd.
Yeah. You want to hear it now?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Turn
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Hey,
Tamara.
Look at this, guys.
Get in here.
Okay, I'm gonna unplug the can so we don't get feedback here, but we'll get
Okay.
back on it.
You all thought this question was gonna bomb, didn't you?
I might be able to get it.
Stella. Oh, Jimmy, you are a nerd.
I am a nerd.
Tamara Chapman is in the house, everybody.
Tamara.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh my God. No.
One more tear, never cry.
Look at that.
One more chance, never try. How can we look and still not see? One more kiss in the wind. For what we might have been, but we choose games that we can lose. 'Cause it's safer not to play than to play this game with you. The last unbroken heart, the first to turn away. Before we even start, the last unbroken heart will hide behind the flame to keep away the spark. Somewhere in the night you hear the cry of the last unbroken heart. One more word left unsaid. Leave us lonely and sad. The heart never caught off guard. Oh, still we long for the light. One more kiss before night. Love to share with nobody there. It's so easy holding back and so hard to say we care. The last unbroken heart is first to turn away before we even start. The last unbroken heart will hide behind the flame to keep away the spark. The last unbroken heart has nothing left to do but to come out of the dark. We can risk a broken heart. I'll take my chance. We can risk a broken heart. I'll take my chance
What amazing
Wow,
voices.
amazing.
Awesome, Tamara.
Yeah, oh, just fantastic. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
I'm like, I have the chills. I'm like, Wow. Like
Flying
here I
around.
am. Look. Here I'm going to say it, and it's going to be brutally honest. Here I am, an almost 50-year-old man who recalls a memory from 1987, 6, and
I don't know.
here I am. I'm just in awe. Thank you so much for doing that. That was so awesome. Thank you, Bill.
Well, I mean, if we didn't have it, if we hadn't performed it a little bit lately, I wouldn't have taken a shot at it.
I'm glad you did. Hey, you made my night.
There's another song that Tam actually wrote with Bruce Gaich that I did as a duet with Brenda Russell on a Tom Scott album.
Oh, wow.
If You're Not the One for Me. We'll sing that for you later on.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
If you want.
We're going to have a live little mini concert right here on the Roger the Wild Child show.
Yeah.
So Bill, let me ask you this. So you started with your era with
hang on, one
Chicago.
second. What?
Where's our hydroxy?
Left drawer, two down.
Left drawer, 2 down, Tamara.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine's in the right drawer, 1 down. But
she's looking for the hydroxychloroquine. There's got to be a story behind that. So.
Oh no.
That's the only thing that'll keep you alive. They won't prescribe it to you, man. What the hell?
Well, I don't know, man. It's Donald Trump liked it, so it can't be good.
Yeah, of course, right?
How scientific is that? Break,
I do have a question for you about Chicago, and I don't want to talk a lot about Chicago because you have a great career and we want to get to that. But where do they decide to make you the lead vocal to the song "Look Away"?
All of those things, all those moves are always made by producers. Producers make the moves. The band follows what the managers and the producers say. Anytime that they haven't, they've backed into a corner somehow. But that usually, because the producers like it, that means the record company likes it. That means the manager likes it. That means the people that are tasked to sell it are happy.
Right.
So you don't make the records for the audience. You make the records for the people that want it. They need to get the record to the audience.
Can I tell the truth? They actually said, Jason, can you ask your brother who to sing? And I said, Bill Champlin. And they said, okay, that's a great idea. Ask Jason's brother. I said, Bill Champlin.
Actually, the demo, Joe Toronto sang the demo, and he sang it kind of up in that Rod Stewart kind of range. And everybody said, well, is this the right key for Jason? And Ron Nevison, who had just came off a couple of hits with Hart, who was a big producer at the time. I think Ron knew my voice from years before. I think somebody said that he was like a front of house mixer for Airplane.
Wow.
Jefferson Airplane, and was at a gig that I was singing at with the Sons, and went, whoa, that guy's got some shit. I mean, So Ron said, I want that guy to sing, and it's happened numerous times.
Yeah, I can tell you that "Look Away" obviously a huge hit, but your vocals, and again, we're not going to talk a lot about Chicago, but I have to say it, your vocals on "Chasing the Wind," boom, mic drop, leave. I mean, "Chasing the Wind" is one of the just, it blows me away. I could hear it 100 times in a row, and every time I hear it, I still just get the goosebumps. I mean, you're just fantastic on that song.
That song should have been as big.
It should have been.
But I'll tell you what happened. At that point of the game, hip hop had just taken over so many radio stations that you couldn't get a breaker with anything but a rap song.
Yeah.
So basically white music was over.
Yeah, early 90s changed.
It ain't anymore by any means. That's about all younger bands and stuff. There are really some great music out there right now. I think there's some really great music and some really great singers out there.
Yeah, we were talking to Jason about it too, and "Chasing the Wind" should have been a huge hit. I mean, it just should have been.
And,
but
"Explain to My Heart" was a badass piece of music too.
Incredible,
and these are all. And the thing is with "Explain It to My Heart" is that the management had decided, well, let's make this Jason song, and then they were Humberto produced it. Got Foster to play piano on it, but Humberto did the rest of it. And Diane happened to be there, and she said, "Where's Bill?" And they'd already recorded it in Jason's keys. "Where's Bill?" He's at home. What's his number? "Hello, Bill, it's Diane. You know where they're recording, don't you?" "Yeah." "Get here." Okay, I got the drift.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Diane's a sweetie pie. She's a wonderful lady. I mean, God damn, can she write a song?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's fantastic.
A song? I think she's written more songs than anybody, man. I mean,
somebody was telling me that, when she first started, I think her first hit was actually Rhythm of the Night by DeBarge.
Okay.
Yeah. That was her first song. And but she had an office and a little workroom, a little MIDI studio or something in one of the rooms in this building. And she was like having, I got to play the same guitar I started with because I get lucky with it. So she was that way with that room. Tons of hits later, they said, well, we're going to sell the building, and I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to keep the room. We're going to put the building up for sale. Oh, boy. She said, I got to keep this room. She bought the building.
No kidding. Yeah, I was going to say that's the next move, right?
I could see that coming, yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I heard. I couldn't say. I didn't ask her whether that's what I heard. Right.
You can see her doing the math.
Do you have your 20% down? No, I'm going to buy it all.
All right, if I buy this building, I only have to write 5 more real hit songs, but I get to keep the room. Okay, I can do this. I can make this work.
It's like that writing room that Brian Wilson had with all the sand in the floor.
Yeah.
Bottle of Quaaludes over there. Brian.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and open up the phone lines.
You're coming in too low.
All right, we're going to open up the phone lines. If you guys want to talk to Bill, you can talk to him live on the air. The phone number is 845-400-WILD.
Wow.
That's 1-800-400-9453. So feel free to give us a call here.
Wow.
And you can talk to Bill Champlin live here on the Roger the Wild Child Show.
You can't get any more, are we?
So we're talking with Bill Champlin. He is a musician, singer, songwriter, producer. He formed the band Sons of Champlin and brought them back in 1997. Is that right, Bill?
Yeah, we started playing again in 96, 97, something like that. And we're still playing.
We're going
to do a weekend and we'll see what we want to do.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier.
We don't get that many gigs. There's, everybody has different things that they're doing. Carmen, I think, is playing with Frankie Valli right now.
Wow.
He said, "What, man? Frankie's 90 years old.
Isn't that amazing?
He's like one of the kids, and his voice is great."
Oh,
Carmen says, "Man, he's a great hang, man. He just wants to hang with the band."
Everybody
wants to hang with the band.
Do you do anything to keep your voice as strong as it is? Because I was listening to your album "Living for Love" today, and it's just as strong. I mean, it's as strong as it just always is. So, do you do anything special, or are you just lucky?
I sang. Somebody says, "Hey, what do you do for a warm up?" I says, "The first song."
Nice. I love it.
I don't know. One time Tamara was taken from Seth Riggs, who was the penultimate vocal coach in the Bay Area, or not Bay Area, in LA for years. I mean, he worked with Stevie Wonder, he worked with Michael Jackson, worked with a lot of different people, and he's I think Jason went to him for a little while.
Yeah.
But Tamara was taken from him one time, and this was years ago. And he called up to talk to Tamara, probably to postpone a lesson because he was very notorious for doing that. So he said, "Hello, is Tamara there?" I said, "No, she's not. Who's calling?" He said, "Seth Riggs." "Hey, Seth, it's Bill Champlin. How you doing?" He said, "Wow." He said, "Why is it every other person that comes into my studio here wants to sound like you?" And I said, "I don't know, and in another week he's going to want to sound like somebody else. As simple as that, Like my dad said, an expert, the definition of an expert's a guy from the next county. I was new in town for a while, but also he said PhD, pilot higher and deeper. But
all right, Bill.
Basically, he said, so Bill, let me ask you, who's your coach? And I said, Philip Morris. And he laughed his ass off, and then he said, you know that's going to turn around and bite you, which it has. That was pretty funny.
All right, Bill, we got a caller on the phone. We're going to go ahead and bring that up, calling from the 515 area code. And caller, you're on the air with Bill Champlin.
Hey, Bill, how you doing? It's Steve in sunny Iowa.
Hey,
We're
Iowa.
getting ready to fly out Saturday. Heck yes.
Oh, you can fly it out?
We're getting ready to fly out to catch you at Rancho Nicasio, you bet.
Oh, man, that's a fun place.
And wondering if there's any chance you might do anything off the latest album, Living for Love.
We do very rarely with the Sons do we do any of my solo stuff or my hits or my Grammys or anything like that. For some reason, we just stick with Sons material for the most part.
No, we won't be doing any Living for Love stuff, but we're selling Living for Love albums at the gig. So it's just, we, like I say, we haven't played in a year and a half, and we're going to go do this whole weekend. We got a gig in Sacramento and then Rancho and then a gig in Oakland at Yoshi's, and which apparently
we're going to catch you at Rancho and then Yoshi's.
Yeah, cool. Yoshi's going to be a pretty short set from what I understand. I just heard they say, well, you do 75 minutes. They stop it, damn near pull the plug and tell the audience, get out. Sounds like the
lights off. Go home.
Sounds like the staff is really into the music.
You go home. You go home now.
Thanks, caller.
Yeah, you go home now.
You go home now. You've been here 4 hours. You go
Thank
home.
you, Steve. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah, I wish we could. Probably should have learned this last one.
I'll sing them for you. Don't worry. I'll sing them.
Darren will take care of it.
Yeah, I will.
Yoshi Shefananda. Or Yogi Shefananda.
All right, so we got another caller from the 619 area code.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh. Is that San Diego?
San Diego. I bet
Turn your computer audio down. Turn the speakers down, please.
Well, if it's from San Diego, it's got to be for Darren. Darren, you want to catch this one?
It's you. I can almost guarantee it's my friend Steve Roberts.
Hello, caller.
I can't even tell.
Who is it?
Caller, you're on the air with Bill Champlin.
It's San Diego. Come on, Darren. You recognize my voice.
Dude, you sound fully local, dude, for sure. I don't know. I can't tell.
Who?
Oh, Chris.
It's Chris.
My best friend Chris that me and Jason grew up with in San Diego. Yeah.
Sounds like it.
This guy. Wow. It is for
Hi,
me,
Chris.
Bill. I took the stage.
What's up, Chris?
That's like, I'll never forget what's her name.
Chris is like,
you got to be careful. He might start telling stories
Chris
to jar your memory.
Listen, Chris is the encyclopedia of music, man. He'll talk about Gus Dungeon and frickin', Roy Baker Thomas and tell you every record.
Gus Dungeon, by the way. Yeah, I got you. I hear you.
One
of those guys that knows what's going on, right?
He does, man. And every record that they did with Elton and this and that and what year and how many releases, this is the guy. But anyway, Chris, you got a question for Bill? What'd you like?
I do. But what Darren said is because albums used to have liner notes, remember?
Yeah.
No, I don't. But
and I used to
remember.
read every bit of it. Anyway, my
best.
question for Bill is After the Love is such a fantastic song and such a huge hit. Did you write it for Earth, Wind and Fire, or did David Foster talk you into giving it to them, or what? I mean, it's certainly not going to hurt having Maurice White or Philip Bailey singing your song, that's for sure.
Well,
but
what happened
what made you not do it yourself?
Well, it was a deal. There was a deal going on. We wrote it. I cut actually a couple of demos. One at Jay's house. We did another one. We kind of never had Jeff playing drums on it, which we probably should have given it a better shot. And I didn't really nail it the way I was the rest of my record. And Foster happened to be doing a piano date for Earth, Wind, and Fire, and he was in a session, and they were rolling tape back. Remember those days? They were, and Foster started playing it, and Maurice just came over and just went, "What the hell is that?" So David kind of sang it to him, and then he had a cassette of it, of my demo, and he said, "Well, come in." They just stopped the session, whatever it was they were recording, and he said, "Well, play it for me." So we went in, and he played that, and he played 3 or 4 other things off of my single album. And Maurice said, "We'll cut that if Bill will agree to not release it himself." And I went, okay. And then he wanted 3 more songs off of my record with the same deal. And I went, that'd be at one side of my record. David said, we can write 3 things and fill them up in no time. It could be really good. And I kind of went no on those, and we just did it with After the Love. And it's always been another one. Some people say it's After the Love is gone and After the Love has gone. English wise, it's has is better. So I went with the English major thing.
It's a fantastic. I mean, just an amazing song.
It could have been After the Love Be Gone, baby.
After the Love
Not
Gone.
just an amazing song.
Yeah, it is.
What a great story. What a great story that I can now add to my encyclopedic mind about music.
No, it was
music trivia.
Yeah, we originally did it for my record. Same thing happened with there was a song called "Smile Again" that Manhattan Transfer did, And they wrote 3 lyrics and almost wrote me out of the song, but it's a great song. Maurice wanted to do it, and nobody could find a copy of it. And,
wow.
And Manhattan Transfer released it as a single, and not one radio station went on it. Because while we were writing, I was saying to the guys, I said, "Guys, I know Jay, I know you're producing Manhattan Transfer right now, but this is the sequel for After the Love, man. If Earth, Wind and Fire did it, it might not get as big as After the Love, but it'd get pretty close."
Yeah.
And they just said, "No, this is for Manhattan Transfer." I went, "Okay." And then it just sort of didn't happen. It's surprising. They did a good job. I mean, Janice can sing time, news, and weather and make it work. You know?
How about some of those guitar solos were ripping that Jay did on that Manhattan Transfer stuff, all the harmony stuff, and just
Jay is the king of the wire choir.
Wow.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah,
well,
thank you.
Chris. Thanks,
There's
Bish.
a song,
That's his nickname, Bish.
Bish. There's a song that Jay produced for them called Twilight Zone, where they used
that was it.
Yeah, and the wire choir on it is insane. It's insane.
That
Every time.
Solo is ridiculous.
Hey, somebody's been saying, a lot of people have been saying, did you do a Sky Rizzy commercial? And I just heard it last night, and I went, how can anybody? The guy's a good singer. I'm not putting down the singer, but it doesn't sound anything like me.
I've never heard of it. What is Sky? I don't even know what Sky Rizzy is.
I don't even know what it is.
Now I'm gonna have to go look for it.
Yeah.
Oh, the medication.
I've had 3 or 4 people say, "Did you do a Sky Rizzy commercial?" I don't know.
That's what Steve Roberts.
Yeah, Steve Roberts said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I don't quite get that. It's miles. I got a little more than that. I mean, I've done a lot of commercials, but I've done a handful of commercials and TV shows. I mean, in the heat of the night, the Carol O'Connor thing, I did that song and the song in the heat of the night.
Yeah.
For the TV show.
Wow.
That may be, I always consider myself a blues singer, and that may be the only blues I've ever recorded.
Wow.
And it's not a complete blues.
Did you and Snuffy Walden do that? Wasn't he? He was something else, wasn't he? He did a different show, or was it that one?
Oh, Snuffy's done a lot of TV over the years. He did. He kind of made his bones on the Drew Carey show, and he's done amazing amounts of. I mean, Snuffy, he's a great guitar player. Whoa,
yeah, I remember he did a bunch of TV stuff. Hey, Bill, I got a question for you, dude.
Yes, sir.
So the name Steve McMillan, right? Does that name ring a bell?
Engineer. Yeah. Great engineer.
Great.
He engineered Here in My Heart, I think.
Well, yeah, he did. First of all, he's listed on so many things like Tina Turner, man. I mean, you name it. He worked on, your solo album. But anyway, this dude, man, I mean, I can just see, I was looking at all the stuff that this guy actually engineered, like everything from Leon Rimes, man.
I think he did almost all of, before I met him, I think he was working in England. And I think he'd done most of the stuff that Trevor Horn was doing, who was a kind of a very prolific producer. And I think Steve was involved in doing that. Great engineer. And I ran into him one more time. I went and sang some backgrounds on one of Steve Lukather's solo albums.
Right.
And Steve McMillan was engineering.
Dude, that
he's
guy,
a bad boy.
And he's all over the genres too, man. He's done Ozzy Osbourne to Toto.
Doesn't make any difference.
Leanne Rhymes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I
no matter
saw
what it is. He's like one of those guys.
I saw his name on your one of your solo CDs, and I was like, look at this freak.
I'm wondering which album he did anything.
Well, that was funny when Chris was talking about liner notes, because you're right. When we used to get records, we used to read those things.
Yeah, he may have worked on one of the engineers that worked on some of the Foster stuff, but usually it was Humberto Gatica. But we had a few other guys.
I'm talking about your solo. I'm talking about your solo stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Did Humberto work on your solo stuff?
My first solo album was the single album, and Foster wasn't quite sure. He needed an engineer that was going to be there for the whole record. And Jay Graydon said, I just worked with this guy the other day on a, believe it or not, Donnie and Marie date, or Sean Cassidy.
Yeah, it doesn't shine me. Doesn't.
Yeah, neither here nor there. He said, this guy, Humberto Gatica, is from Chile. He said, David, you'll like him. And David and worked together forever. For a long time. I don't think they do anymore, but David's trying to not do his. Have you seen his live show? It's great.
Yeah.
Really? Not in a while.
Really cool.
I've heard it is.
Yeah. And then I saw it, and then COVID kicked in, and everybody went on hold. I mean, the Kiss was out they were 1 year into a 3-year farewell tour. Now they're having to pick it up. It's sort of like, hello, goodbye.
Now his name, I think I saw it come up on No Place Left to Fall on that solo CD. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to.
It could be. I don't.
Maybe he only worked on one tune or something. But anyway,
like I say, my memory is like a pizza colander.
I do want to shift this conversation though here. Now, obviously, you're a musician, and COVID did affect you.
I made an album.
Well, obviously, you made an album during that time. So, leads to my question is, how did it affect with you and Tamara? I mean, did it bring you guys closer together? Do you think?
Well, she was one of the co-writers, and she almost anything I do vocally, I end up putting her on the top.
Right.
Because she's just got such a great signal on, she's a great lead singer, insanely great lead singer. Darren, you copy that.
She's the two of them are like, if you like Bill's grit and his soul, man, Tamara's the female version of that, man. She's insane.
She's right in there, just swings like crazy. But she's also a really good musician in the sense of being able to, take notes and sing them. So I usually stack a lot of stuff, and then I just kind of leave the top stuff for Tamara because I don't have the falsetto I used to have. There's places on the record where it's me on the top in the soprano range, but usually it's like it's hard to get. It's weird. I go sing off. I take the cans off, or I stop the music and I'm singing. I can get it. The minute I put the cans on, so I don't know what that means.
Where did you guys meet?
Sometimes I've had to do this and sing it like this.
So you're not getting red light fever and scared when you see the red light go on, and that's why you choke. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, at this point in the game,
I'm just joking, man.
So where did you and Tamara meet?
We met at a nightclub. Place David Boroff band was playing at a place called the Flying Jib in Encino, and he called me. I mean, I had been separated from my first wife for quite a while, and I'd go down and listen to the guys. Great guys, but the drummer was great. Sinclair Lott. Boom, man, what a pocket that guy used to play with. I hadn't seen him in years, but Barnaby Finch played with him. It was a pretty swinging group of cats. And David called me and said, "Hey man, you got to come down to the club tonight. There's a singer who's going to sit in with us. You're going to love her. She's great." And it was Tamara, and I just saw her, and the band's playing a little louder than the PA, so I couldn't really hear her that well. So the first thing, she said, "You got it." Her mic technique was perfect. She'd come off for the high notes and stuff like that. But we just said, "Well, let's get together and sing together." And we did some different things together, and one thing led to another, and here we are. Coming on 40 years. We'll be
wow.
Wow. Congratulations.
And December 6th will be our 40th wedding anniversary.
And how many kids do you guys have?
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
And, how many, she can say, "Get off my lawn," as good as anyone.
She can do no wrong.
How many children do you guys have?
We just have one, Will.
Oh, just Will? Okay. Yeah. And I know that he was on The Voice.
Yeah.
And wow. Yes, and he
played piano on one of the posthumous Michael Jackson things.
Really?
He did it when it was a demo with a friend of his, the guy that ended up being the producer of the song. So he was on a Michael Jackson record playing piano.
Wow, that's awesome.
He's been around. He's done a whole lot more. He did a lot of Glenn Headley stuff when she was doing that's some tea. My pipes are funky.
It's tea time.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Lovely. That voice. Lovely cup of tea.
This tea break is brought to you by Tamara.
I remember when Will was probably like 8, 9 years old, and Tim Bonham would come over and give him piano lessons at your house, man.
Drove Tim crazy. Tim just bored him to tears, and Will had three or four different neighborhood teachers.
Yeah.
And right around, at some point in the game, right around, and when he was around junior in high school, he said, "I want a better teacher." So I was talking to your brother, Jason, and he says, "Let me call Tom." So he called Tom Keene, and Tom said, "Man, the guy." And what's Will's piano teacher? Terry Trotter, who's, was playing with Nat Cole, Natalie Cole. He's playing a lot of different things, and he's like one of the best jazz teachers around. So we got him. I took Will over to Terry, and Terry said, "I don't usually do kids. They just don't do what I want them to do, and kids just don't pay attention." He said, "But I'm a big Sons fan, so bring them over. Let's check them out." Nice. So Will proceeded to play. He says, "Play me your scale, C sharp scale, both hands up and down." Ramp, knocked it off. And then he said, if you keep playing that hard, your velocity, you're going to end up with carpal in about 7 years. Ooh. So play it again with less velocity. So not only did Will play at half the volume, he sat up straight and he arched his fingers. And Terry looked at me and said, "I didn't tell him to do that," but he just, boom, wow. He just, instantly looked like David Foster suddenly. It was like, wow. Because David's always had really good piano postures. That's probably the reason he still plays. Wow.
Yeah, Will's incredible.
Within a month, Will was he was screaming on he was reading Bill Evans stuff. I mean, it was pretty amazing, and he wore out a grand piano. When I was in Nashville, I called up one of the main piano tuners in town, and he came out and he went to tune my piano, and he says, "Bill, I've been tuning pianos for 25 years. I've never had to say this to anybody." I said, "What's that?" He says, "You need new strings." Wow. He said, "This this is used more than any piano, more than studio piano." Because Will, when he worked with Terry, I mean, he jumped on 4 hour, every day, 4 hours at the piano. Wow. And when he was at Berkeley, everybody was out smoking dope in front of the dorms, and he was downstairs in the basement in a piano room practicing.
Oh wow!
So he really put in his shed time, no question about it.
Yeah, apparently
more so than me. He's got a BA in music. I do too. Mine is a bad attitude, but his is actually a Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah, but he's got it in his soul, man.
Great guitar player too.
Yeah, so it's like, learn the notes, but man, I mean, at the end of the day, it's got to come out of you and it's got to be good. And Will's got that. And it's not always because the parents have it. I mean, it's like sometimes it's in the
who
genes.
The parents are hanging with, I mean, Will come home from school and help Jeff Procaro set up his drums in my living room.
That's incredible.
Or he'd go and try to go in the studio and the Manhattan Transfer's in there recording with Mike Hutchins.
Yeah.
I'm just going, he's, everybody says, you learn so much from your dads. And no, you don't. You learn so much from your uncle so you can show off to your dad. That's just the way it is. I mean?
It's all soul, man. He's got it, man. It's incredible.
Yeah, he's a bad boy.
I was listening to your album earlier today, Living for Love, and I actually like the song My Time.
Yeah, it's a little deep.
It is. It really is. I mean, I like the the beat, the rhythm to it. I mean, it really.
I can dance to it. I give it a 10, Dick.
I give it a 10-inch dick. Sorry, that was just way too easy. That was like about a 40-mile-an-hour ride.
Set you up.
Only on the Roger the Wild Child show, you never know what comes out of anybody's mouth. Okay,
that's right.
I will say that.
Look at even Deborah's blushing, and she usually is like the loudmouth here. Just can't get her to shut up. She's been like, "Oh my God!" And she's the one usually she's the one initiating those kind of filthy conversations. Usually.
Oh my God! No.
Oh, come on! Maybe
come on.
Yeah, but if you guys want, "Living for Love" is on iTunes. Go ahead and download it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Bill
I thought it was
Champlin,
great.
It's on. I hate to use the S word, but Spotify. It's on Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about that? I usually ask most of our artists about that. How do you feel about the way the way music consumption has changed in the last 20 years? Are you a fan of it because you can get it so quickly, or are you like, I miss the old analog stuff?
The writers aren't making any money on it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So little, it's unbelievable. The guy, apparently, I heard a story. Now, this is just a story I heard from somebody, but I might be close. The guy that used to own, not Spotify, Pandora, sold the company for $9 million or something, and then got a nice gig as CEO of the company he just sold. So I mean, he didn't have to lose anything. He just puts more money in the bank.
Yeah.
And apparently that week, Lady Antebellum had a giant hit, big #1 song of the year, and there had been some 65 million streams. Think of what that would mean in a jukebox.
Yeah.
In
Yeah, you're right.
Whoa, you'd have to get your royalties in semi trucks. But apparently there are 3 writers on the song, and the 3 writers, after that many streams, that many listens, those 3 writers were splitting $6,000.
That's crazy.
And this guy was in Washington lobbying to try to get them cut down by 85%.
Yeah, see, that's the one part of the change that I didn't see coming. Like, I saw digital music coming, and I was like, oh, that's great if I can buy music online, but I never saw the streaming part coming. Like, when Napster hit, and everybody kind of went, whoops. Warner Brothers sued Napster, and then before the lawsuit came off, they bought them, so they ended up suing themselves. I think I just never saw you give us $14.99 and go ahead and stream anything a month. I never saw that coming. That's the one part of it I never thought was going to happen.
Somebody told me. I'm sorry. Right. I'm sorry. I got waylaid there for a second.
Oh no, that's fine.
But it's just a funny time for music.
I still go out and buy music.
Anybody who's making records, or making albums or anything like that, they're not doing it for commerce. They're doing it because they love it, and it's something that they know how to do. And I the only reason I was writing the title tune for "Living for Love," just sitting there with an acoustic guitar, hanging out, probably watching TV, and trying to write these chords and getting some lyrics on it. And Tamara came home. She'd been out about doing something. She came on. She said, "What's that?" I said, "Let me play it for you." So I played a little bit of it for her, and she said, "It's been 12 years. It's time for you to do a solo album. Otherwise, I would have never done it." I mean, you've talked to a lot of people who've made really good money selling records, and they're going, "Why make a record?"
Yeah.
Well, because I can't not make a record.
Yeah, and that seems to be the ongoing theme is you're not going to make any money on it, but you still got to do it because that's how you get the people to come to the shows and buy the merch.
Yeah, if there are shows. I mean, at that point,
right.
We didn't know, and we still don't know. The way things are going, we still don't know whether I mean, for the moment, there are gigs happening, but
like Garth Brooks just canceled all his stadium tours, but he's going to go do a dive bar tour now. I mean, it's just, he said there's too much COVID going on in the stadiums, but they can control it more in the smaller venues. So,
well, I know I had to pass on all my stadium gigs. I was actually selling hot dogs at a Dodgers game.
I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming.
Hey, don't make fun of my Dodger dogs. Not going to be having one of those anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I want to hear some more music from Bill. I don't know about all of you, but I want to hear Bill sing some more.
Yeah, I would love to hear one more song before we wrap up.
Thumbs up.
You want to do another Tamara and me song?
Yeah.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Let's do that. Tam, you want to do another one? Well, okay, let me do something with the guitar. Let's see if that's I'm gonna take off the can and actually unplug it so I don't get feedback.
Okay.
Look at he's smart enough to even know how to do that. See that? That's a pro.
Yes, it is.
That's a professional. That's what pro is short for. Professional.
It's like act like a monkey. Woo, 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 woo. Act like a professional musician. Woo, woo, woo.
Oops.
Wait a minute. I don't have the right lyrics up. I'm such a dick.
Guy's playing that all of a sudden. Row, row, row.
There's a clip right there.
What would you do if somebody told you that you got a limited time here on the earth, and everyone has the same chances that we were equally given the day of our birth? Yeah, you gotta know it's all in your choices, and no one can tell you to make that will show you the way. Let it all go. can find what you've been isn't living for love. All the signs say your life has just been a game. Now's the time to begin, baby, living for love. You may lose, you may win, it's the same. You can live for much more than the game. You never again feel ashamed if you're living for love. Woo-hoo. Now when you live for somebody's approval, somehow when you're looking inside, you find somebody else. Maybe it's time for somebody's removal to toe your own line, lose the lies that they tell. Just doesn't rhyme when your poetry's stolen. You know when you're all by yourself, you facing the truth. You pay a fine, cause you know you ain't rolling. When you drink from a dishonest well, you quenching a fool. Ooh. You may find what you need isn't living for love. All the signs say your life is just been a game. Now's the time to begin, baby, living for love. You may lose, you may win, it's the same. You can live for much more than the game. You never again feel ashamed. If you're living for love.
Bill Champlin, everybody.
Wow. Look at, there it is.
Fantastic.
That's shit right there.
That is amazing.
Let me get my cans put back on again here.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow. Incredible. I've been around this guy forever, man, and it's just wild to hear him sing, and it's the same reaction all these years later as it was the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Remember at Paramount Studios when Jace got in the band with you guys, man? I'll never forget where it was the first rehearsal before you guys went out on the road, and it was at Paramount Studios on that big stage, and all the families came down. Dude, when you started in, man, I was like, holy shit, man. I was so excited to hear my brother, man. But then there was you, and I was like going, oh, man.
Well, I'd already worked with Jason on a Carmen Grillo gig one time. Jason Carmen said, hey, man, I got this bass player who's going to play with us. And I guess he'd run into him from the Keane Brothers. By the way, you were talking about the Keane Brothers. With my gate, my walk-in gate and drive-in gates, there's a little button to push, and it makes the phone ring, right? But of course, this is me. The intercom itself doesn't work, so I hear the short ring, and I know that's somebody there. So I go outside, and I see somebody standing by the drive-in gate, and I go, "Can I help you?" And he says, "Where's fucking Bill Champlin?" And I went, "Who is that?" It was Tom Keane. I hadn't seen him.
Wow.
And he's apparently real good friends with the guy 2 doors down. The guy said, well, Bill lives right up the street. He said, really? 2 houses up? Be right back. He came up. We hung for about 20 minutes, and we just laughed so hard we were peeing our pants.
Tom's great, man. What a crazy
awesome.
talent that guy is.
What an amazing talent he is. He's just an outrageously great singer, which nobody ever talks about.
Incredible.
He sang a thing that Tamara and Michael Caruso and he wrote, and he just sang it just to have. Well, here'll be a demo that you can play for somebody to really do a real demo, and it was like, holy shit! It was gorgeous.
Right.
Wow,
that was incredible. John, his brother, man, he's
smoking, ain't he?
Yeah, he's ridiculous. And believe it or not, I just talked to him the other day, and he was like, yeah, we're getting ready to start CSI up again, because he scored all of CSI for all those years, and then
he married to the producer and
the producer, right? So that whole thing, right? And I'm saying, and manages Billy, the main actor, for CSI. So
William Peterson.
But Bill, yeah, that's right, William Peterson. So he's I'm going, you're going to start that back up? I mean, it had like a 20-year run. It's crazy to think that.
Right.
He goes, well, we're just going to throw it out there and see what happens. I'm like, cool.
It's amazing how some shows can go for 20 years and others go for one season. I mean, it's just crazy.
20 years and then was off for like 5 years. And somebody said, let's try this again. So they're like, all right.
Yeah. Cheers came this close to being tossed. And they said, well, we got nothing else going. I mean, their ratings were really low the first year. And by the second year, they started kicking in. And that's when it started, it just, once it got going, sometimes it takes a little while to get.
It does.
Air,
if it does, if everyone remembers, Seinfeld sucked the first couple of seasons. Nobody really liked that show. And then look at it.
Chicago's first album didn't do crap, really. Didn't really do anything. It kind of got them a couple of gigs at like Fillmore kind of gigs, smaller, dance hall kind of stuff. But by the time they got their second album out, some of the stuff off the first album started to fly, and the rest is history. They just all took off like crazy. Yeah. Until they lost. I don't know. At some point in the game, I mean, they've had a few slumps here and there, and one of their major slumps, me and Foster, pretty much pulled them out of it at some level, and new management and a new label, and
So when you're hearing these names that me and Bill keep saying, like the Keane brothers, just for you that don't know, like Tom Keane wrote "Through the Fire" for Shaka Khan, with David Foster, and "Will You Still Love Me." And these kids, when they were young, they had their own TV show. That's when Bill and all these guys were around these dudes, and they were young. They were called the Keane brothers. They were like 10 years. Yeah, they were 10 years.
Foster brought me in as a ringer when Tom was 12.
Right.
And Johnny was 9. And
these kids,
Johnny was playing his ass off. He's playing great. And Tom was a great piano player, great singer, and there's I don't know whether I should tell the story. Fuck it, I'm telling it. So, Tom's
just
dad,
like a Champlin.
Right. This is important.
Yeah,
Bob Keane's story.
Tom gets home from school. Dad said, well, you're gonna go sing in the record tonight, so do your homework and rehearse. And we're not gonna. Didn't want to feed him because he'd heard somewhere it's better than not to sing. So by the time Tom got to a nighttime session, we were all hanging out. It was all there, and Tom went to go sing, and it was like asthmatic. It just nobody home, not happening. Now Foster had some synthesizers there, and it needed to do some work, and he went, okay. He said, I got an idea. Hey Tom, let's go run around the parking lot a couple of times. It was really windy out. He ran around the parking lot a couple of times and basically inhaled as much dust as Van Nuys had to offer. So he came back in and he sounded like did a really good version of Barry White. I mean, it was just useless. So Foster was doing something that, and Bob was sitting right there. Foster was doing some synth overdubs and typically, take one next, which is David's whole world. And I said, hey, I'm going to go get a 6-pack of Cokes. So I got Tom to go. I had a rent-a-car. Got Tom in the rent-a-car. I immediately lit up a joint and smoked it. The car, you could barely see through the windshield. I mean, it was just so much smoke. Tom got back.
Like Cheech and Chong, right?
He was singing like a bird and knocked off 3 leads that night.
No kidding. Wow.
Probably by the time he got home, he ate everything in the refrigerator.
Of course, yeah.
And every time I see Tom, he says, Bill, you started it. You got me. You ran me down the road. Shut up.
Oh, that's an awesome story.
The Chicago 18 album, almost all the vocals were me and Tom and Jason. Yeah. Tom was just hanging. You got somebody like that around. Come to the microphone. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, though. That's just, it's fantastic to hear how this all came together. How these things come together, and it's just like, hey, you're just by the microphone. Come on in and sing for a while.
Well, those are the kids that Jason said. Remember when he was on? He said, I saw these guys on TV, and I told my mom if I could ever meet those guys.
Yeah.
So it's weird. These are the kids. So when we get to LA, all of a sudden, all these people, Peter Stanisoff, and all those people were like, oh yeah, these Keane brothers and Bill and all these guys. So it's weird how it all just kind of came back around.
Well, they had kind of a bubblegum summer replacement show. But again, a little bit. There was a bit of visibility there, and they sang great. Tommy played, Tommy played great piano, and Johnny played great drums. It was a great little hang.
I just remember Jason telling us his story and how it all came to be, and like how just like everything was lining up, like it just was meant to be. It was just a fantastic story.
Well, LA was really magic at a certain point. I mean, when I was living in San Francisco, working with the Sons and doing stuff up there, one thing I liked about it is everybody was at everybody else's house writing. And then all of a sudden it was, well, no, I'm in this band, so I can't write with you. And I'm in this band. And they started getting into that, and everybody was sitting at home writing their own music by themselves.
Yeah.
And you weren't getting that crossplay. I immediately started hanging out in LA. Foster said, we were on a session, and I said, hey, David, I got a song for this next Sons album that Chris Bond produced. I don't have a bridge for it. And I played him the song, and he said, great, we'll try this. This is great. You're a writer. So I ended up going on the tune. There you go, And it's just, that's the way it kind of works, especially when you were looking at that little scene of just musicians that were kind of going around. I don't know how many times I'm walking up the stairs into a studio and seeing either Luke coming down or from a session for anybody. I don't know, didn't make any difference who, or the horn guys, seeing Jerry and Gary and those guys. Yeah. And it was just the way things were at that time, running into Jay all the time, running into Luke all the time. Me and Bobby were singing together. At one point of the game, I got Bobby and Michael McDonald, Bobby Kimball and Michael McDonald and myself on a tune on my single album. And next thing you know, me and Bobby and Michael were going around knocking out backgrounds all over town. Bobby came in and sang with me on one record, on one tune, a song called I Don't Want You Anymore. Now, dig how that song came about. It was Monday morning, bass player didn't show. And we had Fatback on drums. We had the guitarist. Oh, God. Guy did Ghostbusters. Why am I forgetting?
Oh, Ray Parker.
Yeah,
Ray
Parker.
Jr.
The baddest guitar player ever. Right. And Foster and me, we were all set to go. And David Shields was the bass player. He showed up late. So David said, Foster just said, hey, come with me. Let's knock this off. So we went over and we kind of put together a tune and, just two pianos. Yeah. And we, I was playing a Rhodes. He was playing the grand piano. And we said, fuck it. Let's knock it off. So we cut it, did the whole thing, got it done. David Shields walks in and we just overdubbed the bass and boom, there was the song.
Wow.
And that night we're hanging out and Foster said, let's listen to some songs that Bobby has. So Bobby came over and his songs weren't quite right for my album. He's written some great songs. They weren't quite right for my album, but David said, hey, you want to sing on the album? So Bobby and I went and put together the backgrounds for I Don't Want You Anymore. And then when that session was over, I went to go do, believe it or not, a Suns song for Memphis Horns with Michael McDonald.
Wow.
And Bobby said, hey, man, can I just come with you? I don't want to do anything weird. I just want to meet Michael, I said, sure, come on with me. So we drove up from, we were at one studio. We drove up to another one. And we walked in and Alan Abrahams was the producer. Great guy. And Alan said, oh, Bobby, shit, you're on the date. Next thing you know, we did a song called Hold On with those three guys. And then after that, me and Michael and Bobby went around and knocked off a handful of dates. It was before Toto was released. And Bobby was having a little trouble making the rent. None of the rest of the guys were all working in the studios, but he wasn't that much. So I got him doing a lot of background dates, kind of saved his ass. And Michael was on a kind of a hiatus. Doobies had put it away for a while. He was sitting there with nothing to do. I said, hey, you want to work? Sure, come pick me up. My car's busted. It's in the shop.
What an amazing story.
One of the guys, right? A sweet guy.
God.
Yeah.
Now dig this on the one tune we did. I usually sing about this far, maybe a foot and a half from the microphone. Michael McDonald literally swallows it. I mean, it's right here. Yeah. And he can, no matter where he sings, it's the same volume. I mean, he's just the most amazing. It's compressed, self-compressed. It's beautiful. And Bobby Kimball on Ooze, he's about as far as away as me. When he went to Oz and singing words up high, Humberto found a piece of carpet. Bobby had these kind of hard loafers on, a piece of carpet and a long cord on his earphones, right? So Bobby come in and sing Ooze and then run back on this piece of carpet, sing that, come back in, come back out.
Wow.
and it fucking blended,
Nice.
Michael's here, I'm here, and Bobby's in the next zip code.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what I was talking about earlier, man. You guys are something else. Just
Fantastic.
so you know.
We had a ball. It was, what it was just fun. I mean, the things.
It sounds. I mean, it does sound like all we know is fans is the end product. Yeah. We don't know how it was made. That's why these stories are so awesome, because we hear all these crazy things and how they, records were made. We just know the end product. We know what sounds good. Like, I would have never known that somebody's standing on a carpet going back and forth.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. I love it.
Little ins and outs of that stuff go. You know what I mean?
They're great stories.
Yeah.
I love them.
But the thing is, we all had a ball. Everybody was really having a good time. Now, we were probably all doing too many drugs and drinking. And,
no,
not
that.
really.
No.
Yeah. But, and it didn't seem to make any difference. I mean, somebody said to me one time, I just can't do blow and sing. I said, I don't know. And a lot of people go, well, man, I quit doing blow and I quit drinking and I hate all the work I did before I quit. And I went, I don't know. Shit that I did was great, and I didn't, and it wasn't, it didn't sound good because of it. It sounded good in spite of it, really. Is what I realized.
Yeah.
This whole time frame that Bill's talking about, like doing all these sessions, and Bill, this is going to take you back, and you know exactly what I'm going to talk about. Yeah. But at the same time, out of the sessions, the evenings would come, and you would just walk into some little freaking restaurant like Josephina's on Ventura Boulevard, and there'd be fucking Al Jarreau sitting in there singing.
Wow.
And all these guys would like, oh, here comes this guy, here comes Al Jarreau, and you want to get up here and sing. It was just like crazy. So, and I'm not.
Tamara had a regular Tuesday night gig at Josephina's for a year and a half.
So
and Eddie Taduri was playing, and Lou Pardini was on the gig. Everybody was on the gig.
Yeah. Was it like an open mic night?
No, but we all knew each other.
Yeah. Oh, okay, all right.
So, hey, Bill, you want to sit in?
Yeah.
I remember seeing Mike McDonald. I've been telling Tamara about Michael McDonald, who, by the way, passed away about a week and a half ago. Do you know about that, Darren?
Who's that?
Michael McDonald. Mike McDonald.
No.
What?
Oh, Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
No.
No. Mike Finnegan. What's the fuck?
Mike
Finnegan.
Yeah.
Sorry for Mike Finnegan,
right
but
now at a frenzy,
that was wrong.
I didn't get the TMZ notice.
Well, not only Finnegan, man.
Michael, if you hear about this, I'm sorry.
Call in, Mike.
Mike Finnegan is who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. And at the same day, that freaking great guitar player, original guy from Tower of Power, died, man.
Bruce Conte, about 2 days earlier.
Yeah. It was just crazy, man.
Great
Bruce
guitar
was
player.
great.
So what we should do, Roger,
Mike
is
I've been telling Tamara about Mike for years, and we went into a gig, and we took a break. Tamara came down, sat down, and Mike just sat. He just gotten out of treatment. And he ended up being probably him and his wife were both deep in the program and really, saved a lot of lives over the years.
Yeah.
But Michael's just one of the best blues singers and organ players ever on the earth, bar none. I mean, unbelievable. We lost a monster. And he played with Bonnie for a long time. He played with, he was like the premier side man, you know what I mean? And he'd just bring it. He'd totally bring it.
Yeah.
And
you're watching with Bonnie.
He came in.
Ahead,
he came in and sat in, and Tamara went, "Holy shit, you're right. That guy's better, bad to the bone."
Yeah,
and
Bill's a badass B3 player, so this is telling you something, man, about Finnegan.
Yeah. Oh no, Mike circles around.
And his vocals, man. When you're touring with Bonnie Raitt, and she's like saying, "Sing songs, man," that tells you how damn good this guy was of a singer.
I probably ended up losing him the gig.
Yeah, maybe, man. I mean, his gospel shit and his blues shit is through the roof.
Oh, it's insane. And he was out with Joe Cocker a lot, and he worked with CSNN forever.
Yeah.
And him and Steve were like joined at the hip. He's just a real sweet guy, good guy, and just hard worker. I mean, it's funny. I did some stuff with him on one thing where I was playing piano and he played organ. Next song we'd switch, and then we went and did vocals together. I said, well, "Why don't we work more often together?" It's because producers will either hire you or me.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Who wants to hire two of the same guy?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I mean, we know the differences between us, but I mean, hey, they're both cut from the same cloth.
I want to get one more song from you and Tamara before we take off.
Hey, Tam, you want to come in and sing another song? Would you like? This is a tune, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm back.
Hi, Tamara.
Hi.
Hey, Tam, why don't you sit on this side?
No, it's okay. I like it over here.
Okay.
I look better on this side.
Okay. Butt up for 1 second. I got to do something. Okay.
Hi, guys. I can't hear too much.
Yeah.
Hey, Tamara.
This song, Tom Scott was doing a record called Keep This Love Alive, an album. And he had a lot of singers, a lot of singing on it. And on this one, his wife at the time, his wife, Lynn Scott, was kind of sort of picking some of the songs. And Lynn had heard a demo of a song that Tamara and Bruce Geitch had written called If You're Not the One for Me. And she said, oh, we got to do this. And it ended up being a duet with me and Brenda Russell. And Brenda's, you know, when you're talking about, if you're talking about art, you're talking about Brenda. I mean, Brenda and Allie Willis wrote all the Color Purple stuff, all that. And then Brenda also wrote Piano in the Dark and Get Here. Just some
amazing songs.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
a really, really good songwriter.
Oh, yeah.
Artistic human being from the word go. Anyway, I'm going to unplug these things and go after this thing. So here it comes.
More music from Bill and Tamara live right here on the Roger the Wild Child Show.
Like a true broadcaster, Roger.
Thank you.
I get the feeling something ain't right. You walk away silhouette in the night. All along I keep telling myself, be strong, believe in yourself.
You throw the dice just to let them go. Pick up the pieces of my crystal ball. Why in the world would I need someone else? Oh no, I'm fooling myself.
Something tells me that it's too late to turn back now.
I know I've got to find a way to show you somehow.
If you're not the one for me, where will I go?
Where my nights are lonely.
Maybe there's a chance we'll see. Oh, surrender, 'cause I don't want to lose you now.
Another dream I'll never tell. Lost to the bottom of my wishing well. I'll let it go to see where we stand. Oh no, it's out of my hand.
We've come so far just to leave it. I still believe in every word that you say. How in the world could you love somebody else? Oh no, you're fooling yourself, no.
Just don't tell me that it's too late to turn back now.
There's got to be a better way to show you somehow. If you're not the one for me, where will I go?
Where my nights are lonely.
Maybe there's a chance we'll see. Oh, surrender, 'cause I don't want to lose you. Don't want to lose you. Don't want to lose you now. Wow. It's a little shorter. Yeah, you don't want to hear the sax solo that isn't there.
It was awesome.
Air sax.
Tom, where
That
are
was
you?
great.
Loved it.
You two are awesome. That was just great.
They
Fantastic.
can't hear you.
Isn't that a
I
cool
know.
song?
We were saying you guys were great. That was so awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, Tom, Bruce Geitch sent us a tune, just a track that he had sitting in his stash, right? You know, in his Pro Tools folder. He sent the tracks, and I just played it back, just on my blown speakers on my laptop. And Tamara said, "Give me that."
I'm writing it now.
And I said, "No, we're writing this for the album."
Nice.
And I went, I called Bruce. I said, "Who's on bass?" He said, "It's George Hawkins." And I was almost went into tears because Georgie died a couple of years ago. And he's still, we're working on an album for Tamara right now. And there's a tune in there we cut a while back that George is on. So George has been on almost every solo album I've done.
Wow.
Except for the Foster, the early Foster thing, but with the Matheson thing, and all the way from Burn Down the Night up to the lately, there's always been at least one song with George on it. The last solo album, George Hawkins and Bruce Keitch and me wrote a good portion of the record. And then, sang. I mean, this guy's just amazingly great musician, and we lost him maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. Just I miss him like crazy. It's nutty. Yeah,
Hey, Bill.
But we ended up having one, and then I said, "Who's on the drums?" He said, "Vinny Colaiuta." I said, nothing." And that's the opening song on the record. It's a pretty powerful piece.
Hey, Bill, did one of you, Tamara or you, was it Tamara that worked with Leon Russell? One of you guys worked with Leon Russell? I don't know. For some reason, I thought I saw Tamara's name or your name or something.
We did a tour with CWF, which is basically Champlin, Williams, and Free Step.
That's what it was, yeah.
And it was actually before we even had that name. It was just going to be Peter, Joseph Williams, and me. And we did a tour with Leon's band. He had a little small, like a 4-piece band he was working with. And Leon was kind of, if he wasn't in a wheelchair, he was sort of on walking with canes. But the minute that sucker sat down on the piano, he'd do all this
wow.
And just all from the wrist. What an amazing musician that guy was.
Man, he's incredible. He was Elton's freaking hero, man. I mean, Elton, it was like, man, I wouldn't be playing, man, if it wasn't for this dude. And a lot of people know his name is actually, his born name is Claude Bridges from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he actually played on My Way for Frank Sinatra.
Really? Oh, wow. I did not know that.
I think he was stupid, like 17, just got the Hollywood.
He also played on the version I did. I did it Sideways, which is another really great song. We didn't quite get there. But Leon's, the studio that he did all those records at was in Tulsa. It's called Church Studios.
Yeah.
And a group of people, really, really cool people, have built the studio back up to where it's probably going to be one of the best analog studios ever. They got all the studers and all the boards and the outboard gear. Great equipment, great stuff like that. And Tamara and I are going back to go with Grady Nichols' band. We're going to go in and do a whole night there. Kenny Loggins is going to do it.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
Not the show that I'm doing, but they're going to bring in somebody and just kind of build it around their career, sort of like what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Except it'll be all music. I won't be swearing as much as I do. Sorry, Mom.
No. And do you play sax, Bill? I mean, I used
to, yeah.
I was going to say, man, I don't think I've ever seen you play sax.
The first Sons album, I'm horrible at it. I don't do it all the time. The first Sons album, I played baritone sax all through the record. And because it was a couple of years after I was out of high school, and I played Barry sax in high school band. So I had the chops to play it. I just wouldn't, kind of hard to play baritone sax or trumpet, which I learned also, and sing at the same time. It's a little bit of a bitch to do.
Right.
But, I could probably play them both, but I can sing too.
Yeah.
But and Doc Kupko, a couple of years after, I don't know, maybe 15 years after I met him one day when Tower of Power first came out, Doc said, "Hey, Bill, who was your Barry player on that Sons on the Loosen Up Naturally album?" And I copped his whole scene. I said,
I love it.
Doc, that was me.
I love
oh,
it, man.
shit, really? You play Barry? And I said, yeah, I mean, how can you say no to a saxophone with a spit valve on it?
That's what I'm talking about. I remember going into this little Mexican restaurant in Tarzana, and Tower of Power was like, remember when they play in that little Mexican restaurant right on Ventura Boulevard? It was like, this is
Royal
Tower
Peso.
Power.
It was Royal Peso.
Yeah. And it was like you walk into a little Mexican restaurant, no stage, no nothing, man. And it's like in the corner. And here's Francis Rocco, man, the freaking human metronome. And I think everybody's just, and Doc's in there. And you're going, I cannot believe I'm in a freaking Mexican. This is what was great about LA back then. You'd come out of the right, Bill. It was awesome.
Hey, the last time I saw Toto live was at the House of Blues. Really? And Bobby was still in the band.
Yeah.
Not the first era, because Bobby left, and then about 16, 17 years later, they got him back for a while, and then he bailed out again, and they got, then they got. I think it might have been right at that point they got Joseph, and Joseph's been doing great. He's been singing.
Yeah, House of Brews.
House of
House of Blues, yeah.
House of Brews. House of Brews.
Well, Bill Champlin, I do want to thank you very much for
amazing. What an amazing night.
Hour and a half of time with you is amazing, and we're blessed to have you on the show with us. And I do want to thank you so much for taking your time and Tamara's time to play some music for us and for our audience. Thank you. That was amazing. That was awesome.
Yeah, you guys were amazing. Thanks for singing that song for me too. Just an amazing rendition, and thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry about my piano playing.
You're great. You're great.
That thing is a bitch. I gotta practice it whenever we go out. Because Tamara and I'll go just do duet gigs.
Okay.
Some of it will just run, tracks with no singer on it, and some of it we just play piano or Rhodes or piano. Or
That's
whatever.
awesome.
And
here's what
Glenn.
Sorry, Bill. Here's what Glenn Campbell said, man, towards the end of his career. He was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, if you do it perfect, they expect it that way every time," because he had made a mistake. It was great, man. I was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, if you make a mistake, if you do it perfect, they expect it that way every time." I was like,
I tell them at work every day. Hey,
Guess
what do you expect?
I mean, it's a little late to tell us to Glenn, you'll never do it perfect. It ain't
right. Well, yeah, that's what happened. And sadly, it was later at the end towards him, and so it was.
Yeah, I mean, he was an amazing guy. I mean, one of my first studio experiences, I was about, I want to say 15 or 16. I went into a studio, and they had me sing on this track that they brought up from Los Angeles, and it was a commercial for White Levi's, right? And it became a national final. If you know what that is, that means it hits all the stations, all the way across the country. And the guys who did it paid me $50.
Wow.
A couple of years later, I found out what a national final is supposed to pay the singer.
No.
It would be about $100,000, and this guy filed an after contract for him singing it. Oh, they were so nice to us. But the guitar player on the track that they had was Glenn Campbell.
Wow,
So, I mean, crazy. Glenn was one of the guys, and so was Leon Russell. Those two guys were part of the kind of always rotating wrecking crew.
Wow,
those guys played a lot. Glenn, and Leon could read the fly shit off the page. and as we found out with David Page and David Foster and all these other guys, the piano player and the date, the producers in there, calling up, finding out what kind of pizza everybody likes while the piano player's producing the gig.
Nice.
And I remember the group Dick and Dee Dee. Oh, mountains high and the valley so deep. Leon was on the date. He was the guy that suggested the drummer take his tom-tom, put it on the snare, and go, the mountain high and the valley so deep. Yakka-takka-dak. What sold the record? What made it?
Yeah, see, it's the little things. It's those.
I remember going to a gig, and one guy said, "Hey, man, wow, who's playing?" He said, "Well, Dick and Dee Dee." "Who's Dick and Dee Dee?" He said, "I don't know, but I'm next." "Oh, well."
Oh, no.
Wrong. She was a sweetie pie. I mean, they were
That's
really cool
awesome.
people, very nice people.
Well,
anyway,
thanks, Bill.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
We used to back all those guys up, Jan and Dean, and
wow,
Dickie
really?
Righteous Brothers before Phil Spector came along.
Wow.
We were the band in Marin County that used to back them up.
The Righteous Brothers.
The Opposite Six was the name of the band. Cool.
Wow.
For a bunch of high school kids, we were kicking butt, man.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know how you were, Leon, I saw him talk about something one time, and he said, I played the high notes because he goes, everything as a piano player blended in. So he goes, that's why when you hear me playing everything, I'm up here, jing, 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 jing. And he goes, so you could hear me cut through the track, and I wasn't playing the notes to blend in. He goes,
the Sons went out years ago. The Sons went out with Leon, and we did a handful of gigs with them, actually all the way across the country in different places. And there was a point where, Leon was playing piano, and his backup band was basically the Gap Band. And
really?
he gave Charlie 3 or 4 songs in the night to just go out. Nobody knew who he was. One night he was doing Stevie Wonder tunes and stuff like that. And Charlie Wilson's, to this day, one of the best singers on the earth. He's a bad mofo all the way around. But Leon did this thing that we had this groove. And Leon just breaks down the band, and he plays in 4 octaves, Holiday for Strings. And with 4 octaves, like this. I can't even do it at this tempo, but he would do it. You know, all in octaves.
Wow.
And I mean, I would have been, my hands would have gone like that because my arms would have been just stuck. And he just does it with his wrist. I mean, it was such a cool piano player on so many levels. It's such a great.
How about we end it with this, Bill, right here too? Because I won't keep talking and swapping stories. When you write a damn song like "Song for You" that's been cut by 1,000 fucking people, man, you're the shit.
Yeah.
I got to learn the thing for this thing we're going to do. We got to do something by Leon at this gig at the church thing. It's going to be September 25th.
Dude, do Masquerade, man. You'd sing the shit out of Masquerade.
Well, Song for You. I mean,
that too.
I didn't even know about that song until I heard Donny Hathaway do it, and we could do an hour just on Donny singing. That guy changed the world. The way he sang. I mean, up until a certain point, I had a vocal teacher telling me, when you have the word M, the letter M or N, you know, the word and or the word momentum, right? Mm-hmm. You go momentum. You know, you say momentum, and that style is basically for stage singing with no microphone. Okay. So you always try to figure out a way to project as much as you can. Donny Hathaway was the first guy to really, and actually Frank Sinatra too, first guy to really use M.
Really?
And he used this part of his face as part of his singing. And it just ran totally in the face. Now this singer, the singing coach, I was taking from her when I was about 15. And I just heard Nina Simone. I went, oh my God, wow, that's some sultry shit right there. And I asked her, I said, Judy, have you ever heard of Nina Simone? She's a hater. Really? I've heard her. I don't like her. She's not very good. There's only one good black singer, it's Sammy Davis. And I just got up. I said, well, it's been nice knowing you. I'll be seeing you later. You know, I bailed out. I said, that's, you know, manager wanted me to take from her. And she was cool, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
Sammy.
Sammy was, yeah.
He was a good singer.
Nina was awesome too, so.
You know, I mean, excuse me, Ray Charles, Lou Rawls, give me a break.
Yeah.
Come on. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's only one good singer, one good black singer.
Ray Charles. I mean, just amazing career.
Give me a break. Well, more than just a career, he's just a great musician.
Oh, yeah.
Monster singer. That guy could pee on a tag. You know,
Bill, we have to have you come back to the show. Yeah. I mean,
you guys want to get rid of me, I can tell.
No,
no.
We can
go for hours on this. We go all night long.
They do. I'm just kidding.
No, we should have. We definitely have you back for more stuff. I mean, you can tell stories till you're blue in the face, and we'll sit here and listen. We love it. I'll be here all night if you want.
Here you go. Well, listen, guys.
I'm a nerd.
Thanks a bunch for having me. It's fun.
No, absolutely. And we'll do this again. We'll have a Bill Champlin 2.0, and we'll bring Tamara more on the show, and she can tell her stories too.
At some point, Tamara's going to probably be jumping into some press because we're working on an album for her that's going to be
sweet.
Great.
Nice. Yeah. When do you think it's coming out?
Yeah.
Well, we got a ways to go on it, you know, and we're kind of doing it whatever time we have.
Okay.
You know, from other things that we're doing, but and it looks like Live's going to be kicking in a little bit. I'm doing it.
I hope, yeah.
September's looking pretty full. It's going to be like compared to what it has been.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to be going, hey, can I do this shit?
Yeah, I just really hope they don't pull it back because that's going to suck.
California, you know, California's going to, you know, I mean.
At some point, right?
He'll probably try to pull it back. He'll probably try to keep it going just to not get recalled.
Right.
And if he doesn't get recalled, we'll be shut down in no time.
Yeah.
They're talking about November through May.
No. Okay. If you want to,
that's why I hear people say that. I'm not living in California.
Yeah, I know. If you guys want, go check out his album, Bill's album, "Living for Love," right here on iTunes, Spotify too. Download it, buy it, check it out. It's really good. I enjoyed it today. I really enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah. One other thing, the CD, and a lot of people still like CDs. We have them here, and we're selling the CD, and it's just at BillChamplin.com.
There you go, BillChamplin.com.
/shop. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we got to add that in.
Yeah. You mean you're actually selling a compact disc?
Compact disc, yes.
I still like
people say, "Hey man, did you record on tape?" I said, "Man, my first album I recorded on smoke signal."
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, on that note,
Bill.
Thank you very much.
Love you guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Man. See you,
Thank you, sir.
What an awesome individual. Bill, thank you so much. Wow, fantastic.
So I just realized that my microphone was muted for like most of that interview, and I was trying to like.
Serious?
I was wondering why Driggsy wasn't saying anything.
I was like, why isn't anybody responding to me? And I was like laughing and like.
I never even saw
and then
it.
I was like, oh shit, I'm on mute. I put myself on mute.
No.
When they sing
Oh no, Driggsy.
I saw you sitting there just kind of like.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm like,
and I think you're on the
man.
webcam microphone too, because I don't think that. I mean, I don't think you're actually on your actual microphone.
Wow.
No, I took my headphones off when they started singing.
Yeah.
And I switched it to internal and put myself on mute, and I forgot.
The first song. Yeah, I got you. And I was like, Driggsy was really involved. And then all of a sudden, Driggsy was kind of like, I saw you look like you were laughing and talking. I'm like, what is. And Driggsy, yes, he was starstruck. They were. Yeah. That was fantastic. It was so much fun. Bill is such a awesome person. What a great show.
Listen, there's a time and a place to chime in with jokes and stuff, but man, his stories.
Oh, I could listen to Bill tell stories all day, all night.
I was like total fan of those stories, and I love any stories. I am a huge fan of David Foster, and after watching his documentary and then hearing his side and the stories, I was like, oh my god, this is so unreal.
Well, it's great to also hear Jason, because talking to Jason, we hear Jason's side of things, we hear Bill's. It's such a great dynamic, and to hear those stories and hear how they kind of gel and everything came about, and just the fun of recording music back in the day, and everybody seemed to kind of know everybody, and I mean, like I said, I could listen to Bill tell stories about that time in that era forever, because it's the music that I grew up on. So like I could hear it till like After the Love Is Gone is one of the first recollections of songs that I remember. I mean, I it's like one of like a staple of like a song in my head that I was singing over and over again.
Prom.
Yeah, there you go.
Every dance at my high school, they played that song. It was like that was the song that everybody slow danced to.
Yeah. We got to have him back. We got to have him back.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's amazing.
Oh, she's, the fact that, look, nothing will go down. Like when this show's over, I'm going to be like, okay, so wait a second. I just talked to Bill Champlin and told him about a song and a soundtrack from Miami Vice 2, and they sang it for me. I'm in heaven. So what a great night for me.
How beautiful is that?
I'm going to tell you guys something though. Go listen to some of Tamara's solo stuff, because
I'm going to. I'm going to check her out.
Sitting in the background there, and it's the weird audio from this. Even for anybody that's on here, and I'm just telling you, when you go hear her in clarity, man, it'll flip.
I'm going to check her out.
I mean, she's incredible. But I'll be honest with you, man. When they first started singing that first song together, I haven't seen Tamara in a while. Bill, I have, but I haven't seen Tamara in a lot of years, and it was weird at first when they were singing that song. I was like grooving, and then all of a sudden, man, it just hit me square. I literally almost started crying, not because of them singing. I've seen that a million times, but I've been so close to those guys for so many years from our connection, and then I just saw them, and I was like, I'm going, my God, I met them in 1986, and that's what started choking me up. I was like, here we are all these years later. And here's Bill singing this stuff, man. And it just, for some reason, literally, I was like, am I going to start crying right now? I was just trying to smile, but it freaking hit me in the chest that we have been together for so long. And,
time flies, man. Enjoy every minute. Enjoy every minute, every second.
And I finally got my shit together.
Yeah.
Man, it was weird, but it was great at the same time. I think Tamara was I hadn't seen her in a long time. She was kind of coming on. Where's Darren? She hadn't seen me, man. I'm like, 30 years, 20 years later or something, and here I am, gray with a beard. She was kind of looking like, oh, there he is.
He's old now. Ew.
He's old,
No, go on. Go ahead.
Really quick, I wanted to tell you something. So when Bill's talking about the Keene brothers' dad, this guy, when he's telling him he was making these kids practice and stuff, like Tom Keene, this is exactly right. When Jason and I met these kids, they were like 13 and 14 and 16. Jason and I were like right around there, 15, 17 years old. And so we became inseparable, these Keene brothers and these Chef brothers. And the dad was, did you ever see the movie La Bamba?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, their dad is Bob Keene, who was his producer. And he's in the movie. So Bob Keene, this guy's this iconic old school producer, responsible for Bobby Fuller, I Fought the Law, La Bamba, Richie Valens. He's the guy who got on his own little independent record label. He got all those guys going. And so Bob Keane is the father of these Keane brothers. So these guys, he was like a drill sergeant with these kids. And Bill wasn't kidding, man. When me and Jason met these two talented freaks. And by the way, when you get a second, we'll have to pull up like what Jason joined their band. And this isn't when they were like on the Dinah Shore show and all that. Wow. They were on all those shows playing when they were like 10 years old, and they were in Teen Beat magazine. They were about 10 years too early for the boy band thing. I'm going to tell you, when we get off this, I'm going to have you pull up a video so you can hear Tom Keane sing, and you'll know exactly what Bill and everybody was talking about. But the dad made this kid's practice, man, like hours a day. So it was incredible. And they just were super talented, and he hated it when me and Jason came around, because we're like, the kids were finally like, we finally met some friends. We want to go outside and do something. It's like, you practice. And they did, man. But yeah, so it was just crazy hearing all those stories. I love it.
That's an amazing story. I've seen that movie, the whole Richie Valens story and all of that. I would have never put that together. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's all tied in one way or another.
Yeah, it is. So, all these stories are fantastic. I mean,
I love it.
Amazing to hear and to actually be lucky enough to hear them coming from the people that lived them. It's just, it's an amazing spot to be in right now. So I'm really appreciative of that.
Cool, you guys, is that our little show, our fun, cool little show, is gonna be like that show that people will be like, oh, I want to go see that interview with that legend.
Right, and they can go back to the old episodes and watch it. If they missed it, they go back. Oh, I remember them talking about it back in episode. By the way,
when you Google people's names, these things come up, and then here it is. We're talking about stories that nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Like our own little documentary.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Rockumentary.
That's what I loved about Cliff, though. Cliff wrote, that's what he loves about the show, is that, we were all sitting in Bill's living room hearing him and his wife sing. Yeah, it's just a fantastic thing. So we're lucky. We're very lucky and appreciative of them and their time. And I couldn't thank him enough for singing that song with his wife. I mean, it just blew me away.
To be honest with you, I could sit there after hearing him just play piano and sing. I'm thinking, dude, you need to just do a record doing that without the big band and filling it all in. Yeah. That's freaking mind blowing. Just him sitting there playing that piano and singing. Yeah. So we're going to wrap it up here. We're going to wrap it up, Ron. Yep. Don't worry.
And we're going to fart dust out of our ass, Roger.
That's right.
Fantastic line. Bill, what an awesome guy.
I love it. All right, I want to thank Bill Champlin for joining us on the show, and his beautiful wife, Tamara, for singing along. Yes. And next week, we'll be back with John Valesco. He is a music producer. He's also producing April Rose Gabrielli. For Jimmy Knight, Darren Sheff, and Driggsy. I'm Roger the Wild Child. Peace out. See you later.
Driggsy.
Driggsy. Driggsy.